Hello and welcome to the PVpallet warehouse. I want to walk you through a few features that we've built into this product. And we're going to start here with the way that they arrive when you order a number of PVpallets. They're going to come collapsed and they're going to come nested. Two things I want to show you. First one is the way these nest, they nest so tight, and the function that is important to understand here is that there are features on the bottom of this pallet and there's features on the back of this wall that lock together, and they keep, while this is in transportation, they keep this from sliding and moving. This is locked in and secure. The second thing I want to show you is, go ahead and come on in here a little closer. There's a latch here that we've placed, a slam latch. That slam latch is going to lock this sidewall down. The top pallet will not lose its walls when it's in its locked position. Another thing that's worth noting here is that these brace arms, when they collapse and they fold into this sidewall, there's compression tabs here that lock that in, and just to keep that as it's just not going to be a nuisance for you. The second thing we want to look at is our Resize. This is what you're gonna start with, a knockdown pallet. And I want to show you real quick how easy it is for one person to set this up. So we unlatch those, we slide this wall back. Now, I have 6 adjustment locations to choose from. I'm going to put this in the outer position for the largest module. And I'll show you for adjustability purposes, I'll bring this one into the smallest. You'll see this slam latch click in nice and strong. Now the smallest position, you're going to choose that when you're using a residential module, a 60 cell format frame sizes. Another thing that I want to show you is what we call a restock. Let's move over to the next station. So you'll see here, we've got these slider handles. So from a nesting position, this slider handle is going to come down and slide in. And for this particular model, the minimum number of modules you can carry is 2 at 35 millimeter frames. Why this is important and why we've added this feature is because every project that you perform is not always going to come out with equal pallet quantities. So generally, a contractor is going to leave a project and come home with a number of modules that we still need to keep secure. This is where a lot of damage occurs in the industry. So we've made this so that we can continue to stack them in this vertical orientation that they typically come from the factory. And then we can hold these two securely. They can stack multiple pallets back up on top of here, none of the weight on the cargo. I wanted to show you how easy it would be to manage and to unload this. You're going to leave those other brace arms open, or locked in rather, and you're going to open these up. You move this slider handle, the top and the bottom, and one person now, while keeping the module secure, can just remove one module at a time. Come over here and look at the one that we're the most excited about. This is our This is our restock. So we say stock because typically we're going to be limited by most manufacturers to only stack too high. That too high is limited only because we're putting all of the weight of the top unit on the lower cargo. We chose to stack these 4 high and to leave this bottom pallet empty to clearly demonstrate for you how none of the weight of any subsequent pallets is going to be on the cargo. Another thing I want to talk to you about is banding. We're going to still recommend that there be some measure of banding from the factory or from your warehouse to the field, albeit we'll be reducing greatly the amount of banding that's necessary. This is still going to be good practice to keep that cargo onto the base pallet. Another thing that you'll notice is all of that weight transfer comes down these sidewalls, and this nesting position where we have a full pallet on top of an erected pallet, even if we had a 60 cell pallet below or a residential pallet below, moved into the minimum locations, and stackability is still a breeze. I want to point out to you that we have at the top, we have M6 cells. This is a commercial module, and those outer sidewalls are in their furthest or largest position. That's a 450 watt commercial module that's made with an M6 format. The second two, you'll see a little pallet sticking over the edge here. That's because it's in the next position in, and this is going to carry the M3. This is a 72 cell, albeit an expired format at this point. But while we're talking about cell sizes and module sizes, and there's been a lot of talk about these days, we understand from a number of manufacturers that we're going to be seeing a lot of standardization really around the M10. So while we're second iteration of our reusable pallet, today we have a short-term solution. Follow me back here. So here's a pallet of M10 modules, and we've cut this open so that you can see it's not just a big cardboard box. But this is on our base pallet without any sidewalls. We're going to provide a couple of key features here. One of them is this is a far more robust base pallet than a traditional wood pallet. That's going to prevent a lot of that upward damage from fork trucks and lifts and where we find a lot of damage out in the field. The second thing is while the operation's going to pallet, we're going to be incorporating potentially our most important feature, which is our reusability. This thing can be stacked up, sent back to your warehouse, sent back to your factory, and loaded again and continue that circular life. Philip, would you come over and show us some of our material?
Absolutely. So this is something I'm extremely excited about. As Ethan mentioned, we're fully recyclable with our pallets. It's a sustainable solution. And a lot of people ask us, is this truly a sustainable product if it's made out of plastic? The answer is a resounding yes, and let me tell you why. This shovel full of plastic right here, this is exactly what our PV pallets are made out of. We pulled this from the molds that we're making our sample pallets. This is all post-consumer, post-industrial recycled plastic that's been ground up. Goes directly into our injection molds. PV pallets are projected to be used at least 20 times before they need to be reclaimed and refurbished. And at that point, they're ground up, put on a conveyor belt, ground up in a machine, and turned into this plastic, and then put directly back into our molds to make brand new PV pallets. So it's a fully sustainable solution to make the solar industry even greener.
Thank you for taking the tour with us, and we'll see you back in the office for Q&A.